Dragon Radio Network. I'd like to thank our sponsors before we get our program started tonight. Our sponsors include the CF Professionals Incorporated, Gary Gruse's office, and the Ohio Mutual Insurance Group, Jim Kennedy's office. They are our title sponsors. Our other sponsors include Marco's Pizza, the Pioneer Mill Restaurant in Tiffin, Ralph's Joy of Living in Tiffin and in Fremont, Seneca Hills Golf Course, State Farm Insurance, Ed Lape's office, Steyer Seeds, Tiffin Ace Hardware, and Viewpoint Graphics. My name is Russ Snyder, voice of Tiffin University Dragons, alongside head football coach Gary Goff. Coach, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing a lot better today.
I was going to say, this is probably the most smiles we'll have on our face so far this year.
Exactly.
After the big win. Homecoming weekend, always a great time. Alumni back in town, ex-football players, ex-students. And it's always great to get a win on homecoming weekend.
Oh, without a doubt. And, coming in watching film on Sunday and Monday is a lot easier after a big win. So.
I'm sure the players think the same thing as well.
Sure.
Absolutely. Sure. A little different setting here today. I feel like I'm far away from you from the way we've been doing it here. But it's, as we said, a victory by the Dragons over Malone, 34-30 last Saturday. And let's dive right into it. It was a goofy day with the lightning delayed before we got started. We got about 45-minute delay before the game got started. And I was always, if we were talking up in the press box, we were curious, how do the players, you get up for the game, you're gearing yourself up all morning, get ready to play the game, then you have a delay. How do you keep the kids, keep their excitement controlled, and then make sure they're up and ready for when the game actually starts?
Yeah, I mean, you never know how adversity is going to show its face, And, the biggest thing right there is we were starting to warm up on the field. I think we were about 15 minutes into pregame when lightning was spotted, and they carried us off the field. So, I don't think we were extremely on cloud nine at that time. We weren't ready to play yet, which is expected.
Sure.
So when they took us off the field, we just went to the locker room and told everybody, get off your feet, just relax. We'll let them know when we're going to get back out there for pregame. And it carried on a little longer than we wanted, obviously.
Sure.
But, the start of the game was kind of weird because we didn't get the normal pregame then. So the officials decided that we're going to put 30 minutes on the clock and go out there and we're going to warm up and then stay on the field and go right to kickoff. So it was a little different there, logistics and everything, piecing everything together as far as the national anthem, you name it. But, I think our kids handle it. You have no choice. And they're pretty calm but anxious at the same time in the locker room and wondering what's going on. Is it raining yet? Because it really never rained. Yeah.
I think the NCAA rule, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's when there's a lightning strike scene, you have to wait at least 30 minutes before you get that going, and that's why they set that clock at 30 minutes before we got the kickoff. It moved from 1:30 to about 2:15, I think, is when we got the kickoff started.
Correct.
Well, Malone came into town, and the Dragons, both teams hungry to get that first victory. And we talked last week. We'll talk more about the overall numbers after we get through the entire game. But last week we talked about how, you look at the numbers and how did we not win that game. I think Malone might feel the same way this week when we look at the statistics.
Without a doubt. I was talking to Coach Durr. I said, some of these stats don't mean a whole lot. We were laughing, a week ago we got the most snaps. We got the largest amount of possession time. We had 27 first downs. We won every category and didn't come out with a win. This week it was the flip of that, but we finished almost every drive with a score, so that was kind of the difference right there. And we won the turnover battle. In my opinion now, I really think the two biggest tells in the game is, number one, who won the turnover battles.
Sure.
And number two, red zone chances.
Yeah.
Who scored in the red zone. So.
Yeah. And I think your kids were really hitting out there. I think it was the hardest I saw the defense as far as physically making contact with the offense. I thought they were really hitting hard this week.
Yeah, Malone does a good job offensively. They run that option, and it gives you a lot of fits. And, I felt our defense, bent a little bit, but didn't really break. And, and until about the fourth quarter. Now, the fourth quarter, they had 37 plays and almost 200 yards in the fourth quarter, I'm sorry. But, that was the end of the game, and, they, thank God we got all the onside kicks, or it could have been a long day.
Yeah, you got to give credit to the Malone kids. They didn't give up the fight at all the entire game, that's for sure. Well, the Dragons got on the scoreboard first on Saturday at the 11:39 mark of the opening quarter. Antonio Pipkin, who's going to join us later on the program, a 9-yard touchdown run after an 8-play, 59-yard drive, 3 minutes and 21 seconds off the clock. Tomasov Derizic's kick was good, and you guys take an early 7-0 lead. Good to get up on them early.
Yeah, and it was good to see Pippin come out and with the opening drive right there and just march right down the field. And he made a great read and then run after that down there on the goal line and, dives to the end zone. And Pipkin's pretty animated and excited guy right there at that time. But it was good to see. I think he kind of sparked everybody. Defense was fired up to get right out on the field as well after that. So that's exactly how you want to start a ball game.
And you could really see the energy level on the sideline really explode there when he got in the end zone. Everybody's excited for the home game, homecoming, all that stuff. But, boy, getting up early and your freshman quarterback with the touchdown run, you could really see the excitement build on your sideline.
Yeah, and it's good to see him mature more and more as the season goes on. And I can't tell you the number of people that come up to me after the game and said, we hadn't seen him play, but wow, he didn't really act like a freshman.
Yeah.
And of course, there's some throws we'd love to have back, that he would love to have back, but he's starting to evolve as a quarterback in this offense, and as he goes a little bit farther through the season and through his career and masters this offense, the kid can be the best quarterback in the conference.
Yeah, I totally believe that as well. Well, Malone, at the end of the first quarter, score was 7-0. Dragons had the lead. Malone cracks the scoreboard at the 13-12 mark of the second quarter. A Jacob Bishop 22-yard field goal after a nice drive by Malone. 14 plays, 75 yards. To take off 5 minutes and 53 seconds, but the Dragons saw the lead after that drive at 7-3.
Yeah, and like I said, we knew we were going to have our hands full with Malone. They were very good at running the football, and so they had a nice long drive right there. But we didn't break there and held them to 3, which I thought was a great job.
Yeah, one of the 2 running backs they have, Bryce Pratt, does an excellent job for him. Then Justin Davis, number 7. He had the touchdown for Malone in the second quarter at the 4-minute and 10-second mark, a 1-yard touchdown run. Bishop's kick was good there as well. Another long drive, 12 plays for 90 yards, 5 minutes and 45 seconds off the clock. And at this point, as you're heading towards the end of the second quarter, Dragons are down 10-7 on the scoreboard.
Yeah, the pursuing kickoff, we return it to just outside of midfield. And I think our kickoff return unit's done a great job all year, getting us good field position to start drives. And, we responded right there. Our offense drove on down, and we had a big 4th down that we converted. And instead of, I thought we were just a little too far out of field goal range right there. And if you punt right there, you're gaining maybe 10 yards.
Yeah.
So why not go for it? And we picked it up right there, and then we end up scoring at the end of the second quarter, basically.
Well, that's something that's bit the Dragons a couple times this year, and we talked about that in the press box as well. You guys have 16 seconds left in the half after it's an Antonio Pipkin run again from 1 yard out, and go 10 plays, 55 yards, and that final 3 minutes and 44 seconds to take a 13-10 lead because the extra point, the snap was no good, and Tyler Jones did an excellent effort to try to get to the end zone. Almost got there for 2 points.
Not sure if he was not in.
Yeah,
it was
well,
close.
You had a better view than I did, but
yeah.
What was nice about you guys getting that touchdown, for one, you got to score at the end of the half to carry the momentum into the half, but you did it in a timely fashion where you didn't leave him alone another chance to get the ball and try to score again.
Right, it's kind of funny right there. I've got a couple people in my ear saying, Coach, you still got 3 timeouts. You still got 3 timeouts. I'm like, we got plenty of time because there was about 45 seconds on the clock, and yeah, you don't want to give somebody an opportunity to throw 2 big plays on the sideline and get in field goal range. But again, a great series by Antonio Pipkin right there, and to give you an idea of how strong he is as a true freshman. Their Mike linebacker is the one who met Pipkin at the goal line, and Antonio Pipkin pretty much ran him over for the score. So the kid's 6'3", 205 as a freshman. I can't wait to lock him into the weight room for you.
Yeah, you probably go lock the door at season end and let him out when spring practice starts.
Exactly.
Well, we took a look at some of the numbers at the end of one half of play. Jerry Brown, leading ball carrier for you in the first half, 9 carries, 32 yards. Antonio Pipkin at the half was 10 of 13 for 100 yards, and that is the type of completion percentage you like to have. And another big number there beside it was 0 sacks in the first half.
Oh, offense line did a great job.
Especially you had to mix and match a little bit this week.
Haven't we?
Yeah.
We took Bobby Gay right there and moved him from guard to tackle. He's played almost no tackle in his career. So we put him at tackle because he's just a real big, strong guy. And then we moved Mitch Marshall over to the right guard because Matt Noble was banged up a little bit himself. So, we did that on Thursday, and I'm going to tell you what, for Bobby Gay having limited reps at tackle, he did an excellent job in this game. And then Mitch Marshall is a young man who's going to fight and give you everything he's got as well. So, right now, this time of year, we're trying to get the best 5 offensive linemen we can put on the field.
That's what we were talking about as well during our pregame when we mentioned the mix and match you're doing with the offensive line. At this point with the injuries on the offensive line, it is probably just getting the 5 best guys you can get out there. And you speak about Bobby Gay. He seems like the kind of kid that you could be like, I need you to play center this series, guard the next series, and tackle the next, and he would do whatever you want him to.
He would do it in a heartbeat. I mean, the kind of funny thing is once Gage Gorman went down early this season, Bobby's coming to me saying, Coach, put me at tackle. No, we're not going to do that, Bobby. We got plenty of tackles right now. Well, here we are halfway through the season, and we're out of tackles, so I made the move for him, and he did a great job, really.
He didn't give you any I told you so's?
Probably as he was walking away.
Probably, yes. And defensively, Joe Collard, 11 tackles in the first half. He was all over the field in that first half of play.
Joe played a great game, and I really didn't realize how good he was playing until that second half there. Because one of the challenges we have sometimes is as soon as offense comes off the field, I'm over there on the bench, so I'm not really watching the defense. And so, there late in the ball game, I'm over there, offense on the sideline. I've been on the sideline for a while because Malone had the ball for a good while in that fourth quarter, and I'm watching Joe play, and he had a great game. I think he ended with 17 tackles.
Yeah, I believe you're right.
I think he's had 19 tackles in a game once in his career, but 17 tackles is a very active defensive end.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll get to chance to talk to Joe as well in our program here after a bit. So halftime, the Dragons have a 13-10 lead. You got to feel pretty good when you go in the locker room, make your adjustments. Did you have any major adjustments you had to make with the kids, or was it just get everybody ready and to go with the second half?
No, not really. I mean, defensively they were doing what we expected. And with that 3-3 stack, they try to confuse you some with their coverage and try to bring different pressures. But for the most part, we knew, exactly what they were doing. And, we decided to put in a couple more run plays there at halftime to try to balance it out. We were pretty much 50-50 run pass there in that first half.
Yeah.
Defensively, I don't know if we made a whole lot of changes either, to be honest with you. We just had to stop the dive because the dive was hurting us there early in the ball game.
Bryce Pratt, 9 carries for 74 yards in the first first half, and he was having his way. It looked like he was getting about 7 yards deep on you a couple times before he's going to handle
Definitely. And, we had guys in the right position right there. They just weren't making the plays. And, got to give credit to those defensive linemen as well. I mean, I felt they were cut blocked the entire day.
Oh, sure.
And, so we talked about them staying low and getting their hands down so that way when the guy comes to cut them, they could feel them and be there to make the play. And, I thought they did a better job in the second half, even though we still had a lot of guys cut.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as we said, the score was 13-10, Dragons at the half. So let's step aside and take a break, and we'll come back. We'll talk about half number 2 and get ready for our 2 guests. A couple student athletes going to join us in just a little bit. Keep it locked down right here, and make sure you tell everybody about Tiffin University and tell them to go to tiffin.edu and find out about Tiffin University, and go to GoTiffinDragons.com to find out everything about Tiffin University athletics. We'll step aside and take a break here on the Gary Goff Show. We'll come back and look at half number 2 from the Dragons' homecoming victory over Malone this past Saturday. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Gary Goff Show here on the Tiffin University Dragon Football Radio Network, and hello to our friends watching us on YouTube and on Channel 10 here in Tiffin as well. So, Coach, we covered the first half. Dragons take a 13-10 lead into the half. You got to be feeling pretty good about your kids, but McKendry's we were talking about McKendry during the break. Yeah. Malone's getting the ball to start the second half, and you guys got that score right before the first half. It's important for your defense to come out, shut them down so they can't answer that momentum right away.
Without a doubt, and that's something we talked about at halftime as well, and we stressed to the defense, very important we get a 3-and-out on that first possession because, just like we talked about giving up a score right before the half, we've also come out and given up a score to start the third quarter.
Yeah.
So, very important that we stopped them, and we did that.
A lot of coaches, do you stress that final 5 minutes of the first half, first 5 minutes of the second half, making sure you win that battle?
Yeah, without a doubt, because that's kind of hidden possessions right there. That more importantly, momentum. It can either kill your momentum or build some momentum for you. You think back to a year ago when we kind of had ODU on the ropes. Well, they scored right before half. And then they came out, and the first drive of the third quarter, they put separation between us. And that was a game that, we were in position to win that game right there all the way to the end. So, without a doubt, I think our guys are hopefully they're learning that, those two phases of the game right there are very, very crucial to the outcome.
Well, in the third quarter, the Dragons' first ones to get on the scoreboard. Patrick Boggs, a 2-yard touchdown run after a 12-play, 71-yard drive that takes 5 minutes and 1 second off the clock. Tomislav Durizic with the extra point, and Dragons get a little bit of separation. Now you're at a 2-score advantage.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's breathing room, but it makes you feel a little bit better.
But yeah, they can't tie you with one possession. That's always nice.
Right. I thought Boggs had a good run right there, and good for Boggs. Boggs, high school coach is now a position coach at Malone.
Oh.
So they talked during the week a little bit, and Boggs said, Coach, my coach thinks they're definitely going to beat us. So, Boggs, what'd you tell him? He goes, well, I told him we're definitely going to win. So I kind of laughed. But good for Boggs right there. He got his first college touchdown right there, and it was a good run. It was power, and he lowered his shoulder and carried a few guys into the end zone. So,
yeah, he's a strong running kid. That's for darn sure.
He's a real strong kid. He's only a sophomore for us. Got a little bit of special team action last year, and plays on several special teams this year. And he's kind of evolving into our third down back because he's a strong runner.
Another long drive for you guys too. Another 12-play drive. You seem to be having more and more of those last few weeks. These long extended drives.
Well, I think it's because of Pipkin. And he's dangerous out there. We like him to be in the pocket, and be the pocket pass and everything, but when the protection breaks down, he can hurt you with his legs. Yeah. And on that drive right there, the pocket broke down. He found Armstrong on the sideline. He found Tyler Jones down the middle of the field. Mm-hmm. 2 plays to where if you don't have a guy that's mobile like that, then you might not have those plays.
Sometimes an athlete has to be an athlete.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Well, that was the only score in the third quarter. So at the end of 3 quarters of play, the Dragons have a 20-10 lead, and the Dragons first on the scoreboard in the fourth quarter as well. Tony Shedd, a 7-yard touchdown pass from Antonio Pipkin. Another 5-play, 55-yard drive, only 2 minutes and 6 seconds off the clock. Thomas Alvdrizic's kick was good. Now the Dragons have a 27-10 lead. Yeah,
and that scoring drive right there was set up by interception by Brandon Person. Mm-hmm. Made a great play, and we get the ball around midfield. So, we scored pretty fast right there. It'd have been nice to keep the defense on the sideline, but at the same time, hey, it's our job to score and their job to stop them. But, Tony makes a nice run right there. A key block right there was James Hall out of the backfield. Does a great job of blocking their outside linebacker. And then the offensive line did a good job. They reached the entire front, and then it's pretty much just up to Tony to get around the edge and get into the end zone right there.
Yeah, you bring up you bring up James Hall. It seems like he's working more and more into the offense, adding you a little bit more depth at the running back position that you like.
Yeah, he's healthy. As we're starting the season, he wasn't completely healthy yet, coming off that knee injury, but he's had some great practices here the last few weeks, and we're getting him back into the game plan here and there. But James has always been very dangerous running that alley and cutting defenders, and he did a great job right there to spring Tony for the score.
Yeah, he's been on our program before. He's a pretty cool kid. That's for sure.
He's a good person, without a doubt.
All right, well, Malone, next one to crack the scoreboard at the 7-minute mark as we're working our way towards the stretch run here of the fourth quarter. Bryce Pratt, a 10-yard pass from backup quarterback Brandon Eckert, who came in. The extra point failed. 13-play, 80-yard drive, 5 minutes and 41 seconds off the clock. Dragons still have an 11-point lead at this time at 27-16.
Yeah, key moment of that series right there is we had them 3rd and 20, and backed up on our end of the field. And, they run a crossing route right there, and our safety doesn't quite get into position to make the play, which he should have been there. He's done it a million times. But I think we kind of got caught with our eyes in the backfield a little bit right there rather than, reading the receiver. But, 3rd and 20 right there, I mean, that right there hurts.
I think they got 21, didn't they, on that play? Yeah.
Yeah, that hurts. And, we should have been off the field right there and put them in a forced, punt situation. But, a part of it, and they sustained the drive and marched right down the field, and quarterback made a nice play right there to get in. And
then you guys answered though right away. It's Antonio Pipkin, a 25-yard touchdown run at the 5:24 mark. 7-minute mark down to the 5:24 mark. You guys only need a minute and 34 seconds because you only had 43 yards to go. Did it in 3 plays, and boy, the sea opened. It looked like the sea opened up, and when Antonio saw that open lane, he got to stride, and boy, he looked fast running down that field.
Oh, he is a fast kid, that's for sure. But no, he did a great job on the read right there. They all tackled the ball carrier, or supposedly the ball carrier, and he pulled it out of his gut right there. Mm-hmm. And they were playing zero coverage. Obviously right there, their back's up against the wall a little bit. They're trying to pressure us and force a stop or turnover, and Pipkin read it the right way and pulled it, and ran, was it 20-something yards right
25
there?
yards, yep.
25 yards untouched. Probably one of the easiest scores we've had this year. But that was Pipkin's 3rd rushing touchdown of the day. Mm-hmm. And, in the air raid offense, we don't see that.
No, you don't. Not a whole lot.
We've never had a quarterback rush for 3 scores in a game, but I think as you watch more and more college football, and you see the quarterbacks at West Virginia and at Texas Tech, you see a more athletic quarterback orchestrating the air raid offense right there. And thank goodness for Antonio Pipkin, we've got one now, and he's very dangerous on the ground. And our passing scheme's always given people fits, but now to have somebody like that behind center adds a new element.
Absolutely, something else the defense has to prepare for
Sure.
sure. So the Dragons at this point have a 34-16 lead, and Malone's able to get on the scoreboard a couple more times as the game comes to a close. A Bryce Pratt 1-yard touchdown run, and then they went for 2 in that one as well. 14-play, 87-yard drive, get to 34-24, and then Brandon Eckert a 17-yard touchdown run with 19 seconds left to finish the scoring, make it a little bit closer at 34-30, but still the final score shows the Dragons on top.
No doubt. There's no such thing as a bad win. It's very tough in football to come away with a win. You think about it, and then more than or exactly half of every university or college gets to win.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So there's another half that's walking away with a loss. So very excited about the way the kids played. I wish we could have finished the game a little stronger right there. And as we learn to win, and make winning a habit, the next phase is, hey, when you got somebody down, you need to keep them down.
Absolutely.
And don't let somebody hang around in the ball game right there, because when you do, they've got a chance to win at the end. And, that's what happened in McKendree.
Yes.
We let McKendree hang around right there, and at the very end, they had a chance to win, and they did.
Absolutely.
But anyway, after the game, my message to the guys were, hey, I'm ecstatic, very happy, and proud of you guys. Enjoy the night, but be very careful. I don't want to see I don't want to see anybody getting in trouble. But let's enjoy the win. And, the coaching staff, we got to enjoy it for about 6 hours. Then we're right up Sunday, ready to get to work on Finley this week. But, a big win for the program. I don't know when the last time we won our homecoming is, but it's always great to win homecoming.
Absolutely. And we talked before at the start of the program about how Malone's going to look at these statistics, much like we did last week, and wonder, how did we not get this win? I mean, they ran 30 more plays offensively than what the Dragons did. But one of the numbers that really sticks out is 4 penalties for the Dragons, 47 yards, 11 for Malone for over 100 yards, and that's a big difference in the ball game too.
Yeah, and that was another thing I did have to talk to the team on the sidelines about. I thought Malone was a little chippy out there, and they would play a little after the whistle or start to talk to our players, and some of our guys started talking back, and I spoke to them on the sidelines and at halftime, guys. This is a chance to show everybody that we have character. We're a class operation here. Don't talk back. I don't care what they say to you. I don't care if they shove you in the back leg. Don't care. Let it go. Play between the whistle. And that's easier said than done.
Yes.
But the entire game, I'm standing there looking at everybody on the field, and they know. I won't mention his name, but a young man looked at me after an incident, and he knew right then and there he was in big trouble. So.
Yeah.
But we got to keep preaching that. Let's not fall into that trap right there, and let's not get stupid penalties. Let's not jaw back and forth, and who cares about that stuff?
Yeah.
Let it go, and let's play football between the whistles, and take care of business there if you're upset at the guy. It's legal then.
You see it happen all the time. A person who says the last word or the person who retaliates is the person who gets in trouble.
Flagged.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt. So, we'll continue preaching that, but the penalties are very important, and you're probably right. You pointed out something very good right there is that, 11-4, 11 penalties, that's a lot of stop drives.
Yeah.
Because there's not a whole lot of teams that are just so good that they can overcome penalties to sustain drives.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the final score is one that matters, 34-30. Antonio Pipkin ends up leading you in rushing at 10 carries for 76 yards, 3 touchdowns on the ground, 18 of 28 through the air, 1 interception, 193 yards, another touchdown. So 4 touchdowns the young man responsible for in that ballgame.
Yeah, and he'll tell you when he gets on the show here in a little bit, there's 3 passes that he wants back because they were 3 touchdown passes.
He got a little bit too much air underneath him, am I right?
Well, no, he really tried to just hammer the throw in there. Too flat.
Oh, okay.
If he'd have put a little more air on it, he could have thrown it over top of the defender so the defender could have knocked it down.
I can think of one in the middle where the defender was able to get there late and use his left hand to knock it down. Okay.
Yes. So, but that's stuff that he'll get done. I mean, he's got a strong arm, and he's a smart young man. He works very hard. So we'll get that done.
Marcus Biram led you in receiving with 4 catches for 62 yards. Thought Marcus played a pretty good game.
He did, and my heart goes out to Marcus a little bit because for the second time in 3 weeks, he had a 60-yard touchdown called back. He had it happen to him at Grand Valley. It was a 65-yard touchdown called back, and then this weekend he had I think it was a 61-yard on film is what it looked like, yard touchdown pass called back for holding.
Wow.
So, we'll get him.
Yeah.
We'll get him.
Oh, yeah, you know how wide receivers are. They like those numbers, too. They like those
Without a
extra
doubt.
touchdowns. It's an extra 120-some yards on this list as
Without a
well.
doubt.
As you said, Joe Collard ends up with 17 tackles in the ball game. Brandon Person ended up with 10 as well. Justin Hernstein, 9 tackles in the ball game as well, and Stephon Willis with 8. So Hernstein seems like he's getting a lot more playing time as well and doing some good things for you out there.
Well, he is, and we have a few injuries there at linebacker, so we moved him down from strong safety to Sam Backer, and I tell you what, he's getting better with every snap too, and he's a big, tall kid. He can probably hold another 15, maybe 20 pounds, might be pushing, but still, that's going to put him at a 220 as an outside linebacker who can run.
Yeah.
He's going to be a good player,
Absolutely.
good player.
What'd you tell the kids after the game besides you were proud of them?
Oh, I like it. Like I said,
stay out of trouble.
Yeah, definitely stay out of trouble. You worry about that all the time. But, like I said, hey, very proud of them. Love them all. Let's keep working. Enjoy the night. But, hey, this game's behind us. Next week, let's get to work on Findlay.
If you only had one win so far this year as we do, are you happy it was this week going into your rivalry week because of the it's the momentum you built off of it? Or
to be honest, no.
Because that week's behind you, it's new week.
Yeah, you're going to take wins no matter what week they are.
Yeah.
But, I feel like we have gotten better. We talked on previous shows about the McKendree game. I feel like that's one that we let slip away.
Yes, for sure.
And the Northwood game, I think that's one we let slip away.
Yeah.
I feel like right now that if we're a little more veteran team, we're sitting here at worst 3-2.
Yeah.
And if we got 3 wins, we might sneak one out of the Grand Valley or Michigan Tech, two teams that nobody gives a chance to win. But that's nor here or there now. It's behind us. But I'm very excited that our guys are showing up to practice every day, working hard. They understand the game plans. They're going out there and they're playing their hearts out. If we can continue doing that these last weeks, we can get on a roll right here and win a lot of football games. And it's not about who we're playing; it's about us. It's always the case.
Absolutely. But it is a big one this weekend with Findlay coming into town. Not only because they're a rivalry of ours, but when you look at the GLIAC South standings, a couple wins, and you're right in the mix of it.
Yeah, you got ODU up there at the top right now, and then Grand Valley then Findlay sitting right there behind them. And Findlay's got a big game next week on Thursday night on television against ODU.
Yes.
So, I'm sure they're looking forward to that game, but, we're looking forward to playing them first.
Absolutely. They're going to offer some challenges. They got a good running back. They got the transfer quarterback who's doing some good things, and they're always pretty tough defensively, but I'm sure your kids will be up and ready for the challenge.
Hey, we're at home finally. We hadn't played Findlay at home yet, and or at least since I've been here, and they do have a very good football team. But like we've preached all year, it's about us. Let's go out there and take care of business. Of course, we're going to be excited. It's Findlay, and we're playing at home. And it's a big rival for us. So, let's go take care of business and have some fun with it.
Next Saturday, 1:30 start at Frost County Stadium in Tiffin. Our pregame show will begin at 1 o'clock here on the Dragon Football Radio Network. All right, Coach, let's take another break, and we'll come back with one of your student athletes.
Okay, sounds good.
You are watching and listening to the Gary Goff Show here on the Tiffin University Dragon Football Radio Network. We'll be back after this with one of our student athletes here on the Gary Goff Show. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Gary Goff Show here on the Tiffin University Dragon Radio Network. If you'd like more information on Tiffin University, go to www.tiffin.edu. More information on Tiffin University Athletics at GoTiffinDragons.com. Well, Coach Goff, we talked about last week's game. We previewed this coming week's game. Now let's talk about one of your student athletes sitting here. Why don't you introduce the young man between us?
Yeah, we got Joe Collard sitting here. He's from Berrien Springs High School out of Michigan. He's our defensive end, and he's been one of our probably most solid players on defense since I've been here. He's a pleasure to coach. He works really hard, and he had a big game this weekend for us in the win.
Well, Joe, thanks for joining us here on the Gary Goff Show. You've been on the radio with us a few times before.
I have. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're a veteran of the program now, veteran of the Tiffin University football program, and a veteran of the radio program. So 17 tackles last week. Pretty big game for you.
It was. Coach Durr and the rest of the coaching staff did a really good job, kind of put us in places of the game plan. And, with the triple option, you got to be sound. And the rest of our defensive players had a really good game along with me. So, is
it tough as a defensive end in that kind of option, or that kind of option attack, to make sure you stay at home and not go chasing when you?
It's tempting.
I'm sure.
You want to make that play on the quarterback, but sometimes you have the pitch guy, sometimes you have the dive. So it's really tempting.
You've had quite a career here at Tiffin University, Joe. It's kind of sad to see it coming be your senior year.
Yeah, I've been fortunate to be injury-free here, and sometimes the coaches say, "Hey, you're a sophomore," and they're like, "Hey, it's gonna fly by. It's gonna fly by." But I have 2 more years. It's not gonna fly by. But my time here has been really fun, and unfortunately, it's my senior year. So.
It's starting to fly by now, isn't it?
It's really starting to fly by.
How important is it, Coach, to have a senior like Joe, who's been through the wars, been on the field for 4 years, and be able to help? Because we talk about it a lot. You yelled at me for reminding you during the pregame show about all the freshmen that we got to play here. But
and you just did it again.
I know. I got to now. I know it. But how important is it to have a guy like Joe who can show some of that senior leadership, not only on the field but in the locker room and just in general?
No, it's very important. And I'll tell you what, Joe's come a long ways from when I first got here. He's always had the talent and the ability. He's always been a big, strong young man. But he's grown. He's matured a lot. He understands when we need to pick it up, if teammate needs to pick it up. I wouldn't say Joe's a huge vocal guy, but he leads by example. And when Joe does say something to the guys, they listen because they know he's not just a raw guy.
Absolutely.
So it's been a pleasure to have him. He's gotten better almost every week, and I told him today after we watched film, I was like, hey, 17? Next week I expect 20.
Yeah, you're setting the bar high now. You got to exceed expectations now.
I don't know if I can do that.
Would you like that leadership role, being a senior? You like being in that role with the team?
I do. Especially with this kind of program, you need leaders to influence guys not only on the field but off. And fortunately, the team voted me captain, and I really accept that responsibility to heart. And it's really it's kind of a blessing.
Well, when we had Bobby Gay on the program earlier this year, he talked a lot about him and his roommates and their puppies, that they've become a family. You got anything like that? Any stories like that to tell?
Oh my gosh. Here we go.
Recently, we had the picnic and everything and going on, but they got a puppy, so I figured I'd get a dog too.
There you go.
One of our D tackles got a puppy too, but I think it's kind of it's pretty funny. So
yeah, it's cool stuff.
Well, I think we had the pep rally there last Thursday night, so of course Joe's got his dog there. Here comes everybody else with their dogs, and it could have turned into a big dog fight, and everybody's turning around looking at the football team because we had a bunch of dogs barking at each other.
And I know, Joe, you're you get into not just you're a football player, but when we cover the basketball games, you're always there as a student, just as a student there supporting the basketball team. Do you enjoy that? Is that part of the college experience that you enjoy, being able to go and be a
college, you're not going to sport any other college sport like that, like basketball or track or volleyball. You got to support your other teams on campus, and you got to be not only support your own team but others. And I think that's what being a college athlete is all about.
He's going to miss Colin Boone. His teammate there at
I saw Colin get escorted out one game last year as well.
I wasn't part of that.
No, I think.
But hey, Joe's got a little brother here on the team.
Yeah, of course we got to talk about that.
Yeah, without a doubt. Bill McKegg. So I'm sure Bill's going to be at the games with Joe now. Joe's going to pass it down on here's how you're supposed to act at a basketball game.
Do you feel like you got to take someone under your wing, not only on the football field, but also to show them how it's done as a student watching the basketball games too?
Yeah, especially with the basketball games. We started Gang Green.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a student section. We had T-shirts and everything going on, and I felt like we got to pass that down, keep that going. So
absolutely, it's your legacy as a student, and and then you have your legacy as an athlete. So,
That's right.
So how did you I don't remember the story of how you ended up becoming a Dragon. Let's talk a little bit about how they pulled you out of the state of Michigan, got you to come down here and be a productive member of this football team.
Yeah, the actual current head coach was here, Dave Wachowski. He knew my former head coach, Bill Bergen, at my high school, and we kept on talking. They knew each other from Toledo. And, some offers fell through and some came up, and Tiffin had the best offer for me, so I decided to come here.
Pretty happy you made that choice?
I'm ecstatic. That coaching staff left, and Coach Goff came here and set new standards, and that's what I really love about Coach Goff. So,
I tell you what, Joe's family's great, too. Saturday after the win, guess who the first person on the sideline was waiting for me?
Pops?
His mother.
His mother. Perfect. That's awesome.
She's awesome. She's our biggest fan, and she's. I don't know if you ever hear the cowbells, but that's her in the stands.
That's her.
Well, isn't there somebody on the team that you used to wrestle against in high school?
Yep, actually our center.
Yeah, Dustin Gregg.
I remember. I think it was your family was telling me about that at one of our games up in Canton last year. They were talking about how you and it was either your family or Dustin's family. I can't remember, but I remember that was part of the story that they brought up.
Well, it's a big argument about who won.
I think that's what. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I pinned him, and he beat me in the last second. So I mean, it's
so if you guys tied and one's a pin, you claim the victory on that. All right, you're a senior. What's your plans when you graduate?
Well, right now I kind of want to have an interest in coaching. We'll see where that goes through, maybe GA or student assistant somewhere. But if I don't do that, maybe try to find a job in marketing somewhere. So,
Coach, you know him as well as anybody. You think he's got a future in the coaching business?
Oh, without a doubt. I got a degree in marketing and ended up coaching as well, so go figure, huh?
Yeah, there you go.
But, I think it helps because you do have to learn how to promote your program, and getting young men to come here is part of a sales job as well, So I think the business background definitely helps you in coaching.
And you work closely with Coach Durr.
I do. He actually asked him, "Hey, Coach, how long did it take you to learn this defense?" He's like, "Man, it took me about 3 or 4 years." But the thing he taught me and the thing he kept on preaching to me about coaching is that you got to learn from others. You got to take their coaching not only from you, but take it to heart, but theirs, and kind of mentor and teach others below you too. So.
I'm sure Coach Schweitzo keeps you on your toes too, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's new. He's new to you. I mean, you've worked with a few different coaches. He's new. Talk about what he brings to the table that maybe you didn't get coaching wise before.
Well, especially with seniors, when new coaches come in, they tend to have interest in maybe the freshmen or sophomores.
Yeah.
The thing I like about him that he still expresses interest in me, and he's still teaching me about technique and how to run the ball, just energy stuff, and hey Joe, you got to do this on this play. Just little stuff and stuff that you won't see in maybe a new coach coaching a senior. So he's really brought maybe new stuff that I haven't learned yet in the game, and I really appreciate that.
As I say, it sounds like you appreciate what he brought to the table as a coach.
I really appreciate it.
All right, Coach, you got anything else for Joe today?
No, not really. I just wish we had him for 4 more years, but he's going to be successful no matter what he does. He's a hard worker and a very smart young man. He's got a bright future ahead of him.
That's how you see his face when he said, I wish you had him for another 4 years. I think he wishes he had another 4 years to play some football here, too.
Well, you know what? The bright side of that is he can be only the second team in history to beat Findlay, so we plan on doing that this weekend.
Yeah, you're pretty excited about Saturday. I'm sure that this one means a lot to you.
I am. Findlay's always an energetic game, and it's always a competitive game, so I always look forward to it.
Like we told Coach, another win or two in the GLIAC and the GLIAC South, and you're right in the mix of things.
We are, but like Coach said, we're taking one game at a time, and we'll take it from here after Findlay. So.
Yep.
All right. Well, Joe, thank you so much for joining us today. You're always welcome. You're always a lot of fun, and stay off trouble in the basketball courts when you're there in the gangrene section, too. His name's Joe Collard. He's a defensive end for the Tiffin University Dragons out of the state of Michigan, and he's a senior on the team and been doing some great things for the Dragons. You're still the all-time school leader in caused fumbles with 9, I believe.
Yep.
Awesome, though.
He's got to be climbing up there in just total tackles as well.
I would imagine, yeah. So. 17, is that your biggest number in a game?
17, yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
Is it?
Well,
I think the previous was actually Findlay. So.
Well, previous was Findlay. Now the new high is going to be Findlay. As we said, you set the bar high. You got to climb over it now. All right, well, let's take another break and bring back another one of your student athletes. We're going to go from a senior to a freshman here next, and we are listening to the Gary Goff Show and watching the Gary Goff Show on our YouTube channel and on Channel 10 here in Tiffin. Stick around, more of the Gary Goff Show coming your way next here on the Tiffin University Dragon Radio Network. Welcome back to the Gary Goff Show here on the Tiffin University Dragon Radio Network. Coach, we just had a chance to talk to your senior, Joe Collar, decorated player here. Has had a great career at Tiffin University. He's got some great things still left ahead of him this year. Now let's transfer from a seasoned veteran to a true freshman. Why don't you introduce the young man between us now?
Yeah, we got Antonio Pipkin here. He's from Gary, Indiana. And I tell you what, Antonio has been a blessing. You know, some things are just meant to be. And, we signed Antonio late. I mean, was it end of June? Middle of June, I believe. And, our basketball coach got a friend that was Antonio's AD in Gary, Indiana, and sent us his film. He said, Coach, what do you think about this guy? He plays football. And I watched his film. I called Coach Priscilla back. I said, I love him. I said, we would have recruited him from day one if we'd have known about him. He's a great player. Obviously, we don't spend a whole lot of time in Indiana recruiting. Mm-hmm. And long story short, we got him to come here and play football and basketball. And, it's going to be a very prolific career, I can promise you.
Well, he wears number 14 for the Dragons. He's a freshman quarterback. His name's Antonio Pipkin. Coach, Antonio, thanks for joining us here on the Gary Goff Show.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so you're a Dragon now, and first couple of games, you didn't really see the field. You kind of transitioned in, and now you're a starting quarterback for the Dragons. How's that feel to be a freshman starting quarterback at the Division II level?
Oh, it's a great opportunity. Coach Goff brought me in, and from day one told me I had a great chance at competing for the job. Since day one, he kind of worked me in, kind of slowly but progressively worked me in, and I think that really helped to become a starting quarterback now.
We knew he had all the tools. He's got a cannon for an arm, and he's a very smart young man. And, start the season, we just didn't want to throw him to the wolves, but in this offense, our offense is based off a lot of progression. You read, from 1, 2, 3, 4, sometimes you're your fifth receiver, and then there's a lot of checks. And, at camp, he would have a great day of practice, and then the next day he'd have a lot. You could see his wheels spinning just a little bit, but it was just a matter of time before he started grasping everything where he was going to take off. And, he kind of got that opportunity pretty fast against Grand Valley, and we threw him in, and he was a difference maker there in the second half for us.
Quite an environment to get in there as well. It's a beautiful place to play, beautiful place to call a game. But now you're here at Tiffin, got the first win last week. That had to feel great to get that W over Malone.
Oh, it felt amazing, Played with a little chip on my shoulder. Guys took it personal. Having guys come in and really try to step up and make plays and be playmakers, and we did that, and we came out with a big W.
Absolutely. Malone and the Dragons last Saturday, you had a 25-yard touchdown run. You had up with 4 touchdowns total for the ball game, and that's just a huge day for the Dragons. Coach, talking about the offense, when we talk to wide receivers on this program, we say, what was one of the things that brought you here? They all say the air raid offense. Is that the same for you?
Most definitely. In high school, I love throwing the ball, and every school that called, and the first question was, what kind of offense do you run? I ran the spread offense in high school, so throwing the ball was really the thing I loved to do, and the air raid offense was just perfect.
Well, it's just basketball and grass.
True. A lot of running.
And you know what? Antonio was recruited by several Division I schools, and I tell you what, it was right to the very end to where we didn't know if we really had a shot at him or not. So, he's got a lot of tools and a lot of athletic ability right there. And the thing I liked about him when we saw his film is he is truly a pocket passer first. Mm-hmm. I mean, he does a great job keeping his eyes downfield and hitting open receivers, and then his athletic ability helps him get out of trouble when he needs to. But, lots of times when you're recruiting high school quarterbacks and you see they're great athletes, they'll just take off running at first sight. And, he hasn't done that.
Well, a lot of times at the high school level, it's put the best athlete you have at the quarterback position and kind of teach him how to play the position. What was it about, the air raid offense appealed to you, but what was it that was the final thing that clicked in your head that said, all right, I'm going to be a Dragon, I'm going to Tiffin University?
And really the final thing that clicked to me was the honesty that Coach Goff brought to the table. When I came on my official visit, a strong question my mom actually brought up was the honest opinion and how honest can everything be around here. And Coach kept everything 100% true, and I really enjoyed that.
We talk a lot about recruiting, Coach, and a lot of times Mom comes up, don't she?
Oh, yeah. Moms ask all the good questions. Lots of times Dad's in the background just, hey, my boy's playing football, right? Yeah. Moms ask the tough questions, but, I think all the players would tell you right now that, sometimes we're brutally honest, and that's not easy, and then other times we're just honest when it's easy. Hey, good job, good game, or sometimes it's hard to tell a young man, hey, you're not playing anymore because you can't do this, that, or the other. Mm-hmm. But we like to be up front and straightforward with everybody, and I think that pays off in the long run in recruiting, and also your players. They know exactly where they stand with you. So,
yeah, for sure. You want them to be honest with you.
Oh,
so
without
you
a
need
doubt.
to be honest with them. Absolutely,
without a doubt.
So, what's the biggest adjustment from the high school level coming up here? Is it the speed, the size, combination of the two, something different?
It'll kind of be a combination of the two. There are definitely a lot bigger players. The biggest change, I would say, the biggest transition would be the speed of the game. It's so much faster in high school, and everything's so quick. And a ball you throw in high school would definitely be intercepted in college. So everything is quick, and you got to be on your toes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we talked about a couple of those earlier there, Antonio's, the couple of touchdown throws we wish we had back. Where he probably could have got away with those a year ago on a Friday night, but on Saturday, not quite there. But we'll get them.
You your hardest critic?
Probably. So I put a lot of pressure on myself just because I know my ability.
Mm-hmm.
I know Coach gets on me a lot, but I take it just because I know. Sometimes I like to tell myself, like, man, I'm not Superman. But then I see Coach getting on me, and I'm like, he sees something in me that I don't see, so I got to bring it out.
Well, the quarterback position, you got to believe in yourself. You got to have confidence in the quarterback position, because if you don't, everybody else is going to feed off of that, and it's very important. Now, your 25-yard touchdown run last week, from the press box, looked like the field just kind of opened up for you, and you're able to, a strider be a strider and stretch yourself out and get down the field. Is that what it looked like on the field for you?
It just opened up.
Yeah.
I just seen a whole lot of grass, and I just had to go off to the races.
Yeah. A great play by him. He read the defense right there and kept it, and there was nobody at home. And that's the element that we really haven't had in this air raid type of offense. You know? So, he's definitely a dual threat. He can hurt you with his legs and with his arm.
What's the biggest thing you've learned so far about the quarterback position since you've been at Tiffany University?
The biggest thing I've learned at the quarterback position? Probably becoming a student of the game. In high school, like you said, a lot of schools put the best athlete at quarterback. And in high school, everything was just, that's my number one guy, I'm about to throw the ball deep.
Mm-hmm.
But coming in with Coach Goff, we had spent a lot of time studying film and looking at the tendencies and where a defensive player is on his feet, everything like that. Just becoming a student of the game is definitely something that's...
In this offense, that's pretty darn important, too.
Well, the thing I remember about camp when he first got here, we saw him throwing, in drills and stuff. We're like, man, he's got a strong arm now. And we gave him a shot in a team situation, and he drops back first time, and he throws it 80 yards. And he turns around with me with this big smile of, hey, did you see that? And I'm yelling at him.
Yeah.
That was bad. That was not a good play. And I think it kind of hit him in the face like, man, Coach wasn't very excited that I threw the ball that far.
Did you see it?
Because it was incomplete when he should have just thrown it about 20 yards for a completion.
Well, I'm sure that's a big adjustment for a kid because, like you said in high school, the number one read's going deep. I'm just going to throw it out there, let him go get it.
Yeah.
That's not always the right play, when you got in this offense.
If you're not making the right read, but he'll definitely congratulate you when you're doing a great job as well.
So far, you enjoying your time at Tiffany University?
It's been a blast.
Has it?
Yes, sir.
That's fantastic. And what are you studying here?
Studying business management and minor in sports management.
That's excellent. Fantastic. Freshman Antonio Pipkin joining us here on the Gary Goff Show out of Gary, Indiana. So, Coach, you have anything else for this young man?
No, I think the sky's the limit for him. I really do. He's a smart young man. He works hard. I love his personality. He's always got a smile on his face. It's never a bad day, except for maybe Tuesdays when you got all those classes.
Yeah.
Tuesday a rough day for you?
Tuesday's a rough day. Tuesday's got a lot of classes.
But when I see him on campus, walking around campus, it looks like he's having fun, and he fits in perfectly. Just because he's got a great demeanor about him, and he's a lot of fun to be around. So.
Well, big one coming up this weekend, Antonio. We got the win last week against Malone. We got the rivalry game against Findlay coming up. Not only a rivalry game, but another GLIAC South contest. So make sure you're ready. I'm sure Coach is going to work you guys hard this week to get you ready for Saturday.
Most definitely. This week is a rivalry week, so just being a freshman, I'm not really sure about the rivalry thing. Everybody's all into it. I'm just like, it's just another game. But I'm definitely looking forward to play. I see it as a statement game. Nobody expects us to win, so I see us going out there and just taking it.
You like the another game approach because there's not that getting too high before the game or something like that? Does look at it as a football game.
You've got a long week of preparation, no matter who you're playing, and I don't want the team ready to play on Thursday or Friday.
Sure.
I want them ready to play on Saturday. So we've got our peaks and valleys throughout the week, but as long as we hold the reins back a little bit, so we're ready on Saturday, that's when we need to be.
I bet you're happy some of those big fellows on the defensive line for the Dragons aren't pounding on you on Saturdays. Good to have them wearing the same color uniform you are, aren't you?
I'm so excited. Joe Collar is a big man.
Yes,
he is.
Yes, they are. Well, Tony, thank you so much for joining us here on the Gary Goff Show. Best of luck to you. Continued success. It's a pleasure watching you play from the press box, and I look forward to 3.5 more years of it, man. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Coach. Well, it's about time to wrap up the program. Any final words on our game coming up this Saturday against Findlay?
No, Findlay is a great football team. Their quarterback was a transfer from Ohio State. He played receiver there for a couple years. Their tailback is a really good kid. He can fly. And then they got the white kid, that receiver, who seems like he's been there for 8 years. But
that's what they'll be saying about him in a few years. If
I hope so.
For a long time. Yep.
I hope so. But Findlay's offense is very good. Yeah, they are. I think they're averaging 38 points a game. Defensively, they're very sound. They're only averaging giving up, I think, 28 points a game. But it's Findlay, so a lot of those stats you can throw out the window. It's going to be two teams battling hard. And, we need to go out there and take care of business and just execute. And, it's going to be about our preparation this week. It's going to be about, how we handle ourselves on the field there. And I expect a big game. We're at home. We always play really hard at home. So.
Well, like we always say, Coach, doesn't matter what they do. It's about what we do on the field. If we do what we got to do, we're going to have a chance to win the ball game, and then it all becomes about execution. So,
without a doubt.
All right, well, let's thank our sponsors one more time here before we wrap up our program. Our title sponsors are CF Professionals Incorporated, Gary Gruse's office, the Ohio Mutual Insurance Group, Jim Kennedy's office. Our other sponsors include Marco's Pizza, the Pioneer Mill Restaurant of Tiffin, Ralph's Joy of Living in Tiffin and in Fremont, Seneca Hills Golf Course, State Farm Insurance, Steyer Seeds, Tiffin Ace Hardware, and Viewpoint Graphics. Thanks to Joe Collard for joining us. Thanks to Antonio Pipkin for joining us. For Coach Gary Goff, I'm Russ Snyder, voice of Tiffin University Dragons. Thank you so much for joining us today on the Gary Goff Show right here on the Tiffin University Dragon Football Radio Network.